Hello everyone and welcome back to Tech Tuesdays. This is the show where I recap all the most important tech news from throughout the week. So without further ado, let's get started. Our first story is, what is Google's Alphabet? So Alphabet is now the parent company of Google. Alphabet, to put it simply, is a restructuring of Google to allow Sergey and Larry, the founders of Google, to work on some of Google's more ambitious projects. Google, with its products including Search, Android, Chrome, and YouTube, will remain the same, now a company inside of Alphabet. Google's other projects, such as Fiber, Calico, Google X, and Google Ventures, will now be individual companies inside of Alphabet. This could potentially mean that some of Google's more ambitious projects could see the market faster, as they are now going to be more focused with individual CEOs for each individual project. So now they're going to be treated as individual companies, which will allow Google to focus more directly on each individual product or service they're offering through that particular company inside of Alphabet. So I think this is a good move for Google, or now Alphabet. So our next story is, Nintendo fires its localization editor. So Nintendo of America localization editor Chris Pronger was fired recently over comments he made during the Part-Time Gamers podcast on August 3rd. He confirmed his firing, tweeting out, "As some of you may have heard, yes, I was fired yesterday. Yes, it was ultimately my own fault. No, I did not see this coming." Although it was unclear exactly what got him fired, he made several controversial contents, including these regarding Captain Rainbow and Xenoblade Chronicles. "People think that obviously they're right, and what they like or dislike has to be the norm," he said. "Why would it be otherwise? The classic, why do you hate money, Nintendo? But it's like, what are you talking about? Yeah, we do want money, which is why we know it's a colossal waste if we ever try to localize that in this current market," he said about Captain Rainbow specifically. He goes, "Look at you people, you don't make up a big enough group. Generally speaking, people don't understand just how expensive it is to localize Japanese games. There are costs involved in the areas of translating, localization, marketing, and voice acting in some cases. Put those figures together and you're looking at a colossal cost," Pranger said. In regards to Xenoblade Chronicles, he said the game only made it to the United States by luck. He said, noting that it was guaranteed to not sell enough copies to justify the cost associated with the localization process. Nintendo of Europe took the fall and ate the cost for its localization, Pranger claimed. So my question is, do you think he deserved to be fired for what he said in regards to localization? I would say no, but as a business, I could definitely see why you went about firing him. I mean, he came out and said what nobody really wants to say, but is the truth. There's a lot of costs that go along with localization, and he certainly, being one of the people in charge of that, understands that, and he's just speaking his mind. And do I think he deserved to be fired? No, but ultimately, he had to have seen that coming. Our next story is, Guillermo Del Toro is done with video games. However, the movie director Guillermo Del Toro is calling it quits on video games. He most recently worked on the now cancelled Silent Hills with Konami, and said this when asked if he planned to work on any other games in the future. "I have proven to be the albatross of video games. I joined THQ and THQ goes broke. I joined Kojima and Kojima leaves Konami. I have decided, in order not to destroy anyone else's life, I have decided I will never again get involved in video games. Otherwise, I'll join someone and his house will explode or something." It's sad to hear this, since Guillermo del Toro is such a good director, and it's a shame that he won't be able to work on any other games, but I can definitely see why he made this call on his part. Our next story is, EA Access potentially coming to PS4. In a recent interview with GameSpot, COO of EA, Peter Moore, was rather defensive when asked about the potential of EA Access coming to the PlayStation 4. "Do you want to see EA Access on PlayStation 4? Doesn't matter, it's on Xbox One, and those customers love it. We have analytics on everything these days, and subscriber satisfaction rates are through the roof. EA Access customers get to play more because of the vault, they get to play early ahead of a general release date, and they get to pay less because of the discounted offers. So consumers love it, it's doing well. If you expand to another console, business will be even better, right? But it's not, it's on Xbox One. I'm curious about what you're saying. Is this part of a deal with Microsoft now? It's on Xbox One. Do you want to talk about this? Well, Sony talked about it, ask them. There's not much left for me to say." He most likely had this to say because of Sony's original comments about EA Access. Sony said, quote, "We evaluated the EA Access subscription offering and decided that it does not bring the kind of value PlayStation customers have come to expect. We don't think asking our fans to pay an additional $5 a month for this EA-specific program represents a good value to the PlayStation gamer." Our next and final story is Dying Light selling 5 million copies and also potentially working on a sequel. Dying Light producer Tyrone Sapkalia, excuse me for the terrible pronunciation, recently proclaimed that Dying Light has sold 5 million copies, making it one of the top 10 best-selling games of the year thus far. He also stated the company is working on the following expansion, which is set to introduce vehicles and a new map, which is as big as all the previous maps combined. Also, the company is getting to work on an eventual sequel. Samakaya, again, excuse my pronunciation, had this to say regarding a potential sequel. We have lots of very ambitious ideas, so first we need to check if these ideas are even doable with the tech that the current consoles provide. We also need to check if our concepts are really as good as we think they are, so we need to prototype things. Although it is unclear whether he means current, as in 360 or PlayStation 3, or Xbox One and PlayStation 4, this could potentially be a massive game if he means the latter. Due to the fact that we are still relatively early on in this console cycle, most developers have only begun to tap into the full potential of the consoles. To say that Techland has already potentially maxed out the current power of the consoles says a lot about the potential of video gaming in the future. How are we going to continue to buy and build consoles knowing only a few short years in the console life cycle, developers have already maxed out the full potential of the console? It's just a slap to the face to both the developer and the consumer. Games nowadays are so big and so ambitious that they shouldn't be held back by, the console power. And I don't know if consoles are going to be able to survive if we keep tapping out their full potential so early on into the life cycle. I think in the future console gaming will be relatively dead, and it'll be mainly PCs because PCs are ever evolving and consoles stay the same for long periods of time. So it'll be interesting to see how consoles kind of move on in the future, knowing that the power of them taps out so quickly. So that's it for this edition of Tech Tuesdays, guys. As always, if you like this video, leave a like and subscribe either direction. You can check out Tech Tuesdays and Philosophical Fridays. Thank you so much for watching, and enjoy the rest of your day.